and get started. All right, salute everybody. Salute everybody. Pleasure to have you here, brothers, my brothers in arms. Welcome back. This is another moment in time where we review what it takes to be a master and a master of self at that. Now, everybody that comes here, first and foremost, let's understand that this is happening under the banner of entertainment. Okay, so don't take everything that I say seriously. That includes for myself as well as everybody else that is here speaking. What happens here stays here within this group, right? It is a public group, right? But I like to make that announcement for everybody that comes in. Number two, the show is for adults. So everybody that tunes in, make sure that there's adults around you. If you're not adults around you, please instruct them. Take responsibility for those who are around you. And number three, respect those around you, or respect the laws of the land, right? And number four, tell the world that, Masters of Self, we're here to take over, dominate, to do all that shit. We're here to impact and influence the world. So I'd like to welcome all my brothers. I think everybody that's been here, or everybody's here right now, has not been here before except for Tony, brother Tony. So I'd like to welcome all my brothers. We got Brian in the room. That's my brother here in Phoenix. We got Troy, my brother out in New York. And we got Lorenzo, or I said Lorenzo, no Renzo. He goes by Zero, and he's in Tampa, Florida. He's out there with Pyro. And then we got a brother Tony. Tony, I don't know where you are exactly, brother. Wherever you are, Wisconsin. Yes, sir. Salute, man. Pleasure to have y'all here, man. Everybody that comes here comes as a master of self. Let me adjust my camera here. Everybody that comes here comes as a master of self. Everybody has the origination point of self to speak from. Okay, so while you're here, feel free to speak as you please. Speak as the highest version of yourself. Speak as your higher self, and step into a new reality. By the time that you end this show, by the time that we're done, you should be able to see yourself differently just by expressing yourself or tapping into this frequency. Okay, so once again, welcome, brothers. Today I want to talk about self-respect. Self-respect is something I think is highly desired, by many people in the outside world. Many people want to have a self-respect. Many people want to carry themselves with respect, and many people want respect from others. But how do we get to the point of understanding, okay, this is how I achieve respect from somebody else? How do I grant respect from other powerful men in my life? How I do that is first starting with me. I know that the very first thing that I learned, I'm a part of IMC Nation. And, one of the very first things that I learned from AZD was the simple fact that, our first contract in life is self. When you look in the mirror, right, and you are able to see your reflection, and however it is that you perceive yourself in that moment, how you choose to perceive yourself is how you will experience life. You can't experience anything outside of that, right? So come with the understanding that however it is that I see myself, that's how I'm going to experience life, right? That's how I'm going to experience life. I'm going to go from the place of self. I mean, at what point do you not have yourself, right? We always got to keep that in mind when we are interacting with our life and our world, and we're looking for something outside of ourselves. Well, how have you, if we're talking about self-respect, right? How have you respected yourself today? Did you intentionally create with your day? Did you intentionally create with your body? Did you intentionally do something that is worthy of your own respect? Before you can get respect from anybody else, it's going to start with you, right? And how can you expect anything outside of yourself if you don't hold yourself accountable to that? And that's part of what it is that I've learned from AZD and IMC Nation. Every single day for the last year plus, right? We've been tapped in and we've been going ham and practicing what it takes to be a person that respects themselves. This is not something I take lightly. I think that every single day matters. Every single day adds up to the bigger picture. So the character that you see in front of you today is only a reflection of what the energy that I put into myself so far. Now, if I see something that I don't like in myself, that means that I have a lot of work to do, right? And at some point in our life, we have to look at ourselves and understand, okay, however it is that I've experienced life so far, it's just not enough. It's not enough. It's not where I want to be, right? You always got to look at life with that perspective. This isn't this is not my full potential. This doesn't end here, right? Instagram, y'all gonna have to catch us next time, man. Tune in online. Oh man, I ended it too soon. Hey brothers, any reflection on anything that I've said so far? You know, the topic is self-respect once again, and you know, everybody's welcome to speak. If you haven't spoken before, I'll go ahead and introduce you to everybody so everybody is familiar with who you are. But if not, then we'll just go ahead and keep pushing. I'm gonna go ahead and post this in 1 sec. You know, for myself, man, I every single chance I get, I want to look at myself and see, okay, how can I improve the way that I'm perceiving life? How can I improve the way that I am going about what it is that I'm doing? You know, my intention, yeah, Tony, salute, brother. He's in there. My intention every day, man, is just to get better at being me. And the way that I get better is by looking at the different values that I have in my life. And I see, you know, that was part of the reason why I was going over self-respect, is because that's one of the values here at Masters of Self. You know, last meeting, I went over the tribal values, and that's the very first one. And, you know, actually, I want to review what I wrote. Give me 1 sec. All right. Sorry to open on the page. So I said respect, you know, give what you want back from life. When you want something outside of yourself, once again, it's going to take a perspective shift. And a perspective shift is this. So, you know, at some point in my life, well, at some point, I say 2016 for me was an awakening of my consciousness. You know, I went from having a quote unquote normie experience, you know, having a lifestyle that was, you know, I was brought up in church. So I was brought up in religion. You know, you know, every single Sunday, that was like so ingrained in us as going to church and go to church. And this, it didn't matter if it was the same message, it didn't matter what was going on. You know, that was a normal thing for us. And so, you know, me experiencing that, I forgot why I even brought that up. I'll say religion. And, you know, me experiencing the daily, not daily, but the constant involvement being around church, you know, what have you, it kept me within a certain realm, right? A sheltered view and perspective in my life. And so when when I was under that scope and under that way of thinking, I never took the time to see what decision do I really want to make, right? So that's what I was saying. In 2016, I had a point of awakening, in a sense, to myself, right? I had an awakening to what it is that I'm here to do in life. And back in 2016, I really became aware of the fact that, man, I have not been making my own decisions in life. You know, I thought I was making my own decisions in life. And you know, I think a lot of us who are part of IMC Nation have been on that train of thought, thinking that we knew the answers to life until we came across AZD, right? You come across a man like Eros Dibuzar. This man is of supreme intelligence, right? Meaning that he has worked his way there, right? It's not like he just was granted that. You know, he went to go find information and has consistently spoken on the information since he started to find it, and dispelling that information over time and over time and over time, slowly and surely began a awakening of consciousness in other people, right? So that's what we're seeing right here, right now. And so this group in particular, you know, when I talk about respect being a tribal value, it starts everything, you know, this is why I became conscious of in 2016. Everything starts with ourselves. Everything starts with the way that you go about your life, right? How do you exemplify respect to other people that are around you? How do you treat, let's say, you know, your space, right? Do you respect your own space? If you want other people to respect your space, it starts with you. You know, everything starts with us. So to come to understand that the deeper that I tap into my own values, the more that I can look outside of me and see, okay, this person is abiding by those values, and me and that person align. And these alignments are what connect us to higher powers. This is what connects us to higher connections in life. You know, I have been a part of martial arts my whole life, and being a part of that, having that philosophy, having that style and tradition and a practice of exemplifying my respect for others, right, for authority, that practice allows me to have a powerful gauge as to who is respecting me around me, right? And who am I respecting that's around? Because I've already established with myself at some point that I respect myself. I look at myself in the mirror every single day, and every single day I confront some part of myself. I have to look at myself in the mirror and say, am I better today than I was yesterday? Oftentimes, I don't feel like I got better, right? Even though I know that I did the work, I did what I was supposed to do. But sometimes I don't feel like I got better. So in those moments, I have to get to the point, and that's what affirmations help you to do, it gets to the point where you have a sense of respect for yourself, where you are conscious of how you're carrying yourself in the world. Then you have the proper approach, right? To go outside of yourself, or to look outside of yourself and see, is that person, respecting me or not? Because what is respect? Respect is simply an acknowledgement of that person. How do I acknowledge that person over there if I don't acknowledge myself? I can't truly respect anybody that's outside of myself if I don't truly respect myself. That's where it starts. And that's my current interpretation of what respect is for myself. Now, as I speak on these things, I realize, every time that I communicate is another opportunity for somebody else to open up their own perspective, because when you look at yourself on a consistent basis, you have an effective gauge, right, to look at the rest of the world and those who are around you. So, brothers, don't let this be me just speaking the whole time. Anybody else has anything to say based on self-respect, or really anything, any topic at all? How has your experience been in the last cycles, what we call it? We don't call them weeks anymore. We call them cycles around here. How's your experience been of your self demonstration in life, your self expression in life? Like I said, everything starts from the self. Everything starts from you. So, how has your experience been so far? Let's get some dialogue going, fellas. If anybody has anything to say.
All right, I can
Brother
go.
Tony. Yes, sir. Salute.
You're talking about standing up for ourselves.
So self-respect, but yes, standing up for yourself is another, reflection of,
Okay.
of self-respect.
Yeah, it actually happened to me a year ago. I'm gonna try not to go into too much detail, but I was at the Walmart distribution center, case lot worker, and since I'm in the Air Force National Guard, I would give my manager the dates for my drill weekends. Well, apparently I was supposed to tell HR too. And the lady, and I've had this in the past too, HR people, they just think that they can talk down to us blue collar workers. So she pulled that shit with me, and I gave it right back to her. And I went up just a little bit, and I used one word.
Yeah.
It was communication. Like, you'd be working for me one day, so you better start treating me and the other workers with respect. Oh no, I'm sorry. Just let us know. I'm like, okay, well, you gotta tell my manager that, or whoever, because the communication here sucks, and you're not gonna be blaming me for your lack of it. And then I ended up quitting that job, and I attended my first live beast camp online, and it was one of the best. It just keeps getting better. It hasn't been easy, but it just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
And now when I apply for jobs out there, it's like, do I want to work with them? I'm not like, I'm hiring them. They're not hiring me.
Absolutely.
That's how I look at it now. So salute, brother.
Yes,
thank you.
Yes, sir. Salute, man. Thank you for sharing that, man. That was powerful. You sharing that right there made me realize that there was a point. I think that was the reason why I was talking about 2016 and where I was at in life at that moment in time. But there was a point at the end of 2015. I had already come across AZD, right, in 2014, the summer of 2014, excuse me. And so I was going to U of A, University of Arizona, and I was down there, you know, I was going through the motions. You know, I didn't want to be there really. I didn't want to be a part of college. I mean, I did for the women, right? Let's not get twisted. The bitches was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like everywhere, you know. And you know, that was the main motivation of even staying in Tucson, right? Was only for that. Now, but what I came to realize, like at the end of my tenure at, you know, the U of A, I went through this whole episode. I don't think we got time to go through all of that, but you know, the end of that experience of me being in a college experience, this, that, and the other, I realized that I reached a point of, you know, how much do I had to ask myself the question, how much do I really want from life, right? And it came to a point of understanding, once again, like I didn't realize that I was not making my own decisions in life. And for me, not making my own decisions in life, right, like I had the opportunity to make my first true decision in my life, and that was to stop going to school and instead choose a different path, right? You know, that was my introduction to the forex market, a foreign exchange market. At that time, I cut off, you know, school. So it was really, it was all the year of 2015. You know, the spring of 2015, the spring semester, I was in school. I was like halfway through the semester, and I remember turning to my friend. I was like, bro, you know, I hadn't been to class in like 2 weeks. So I was like, bro, I'm not going back from this point. And I remember looking at him and making that decision and telling him that and sticking to that shit, right? Because I didn't go to class for the rest of the semester. So I failed all those classes, right? And then it came summertime, I decided, you know, I was gonna go back to school, but I wasn't going back to school for the purpose of going to school. I was going back to school for the purpose of getting the money from the financial aid office so I can use that to put into my foreign exchange, you know, business. Because I had the business idea, I had the whole, I had everything moving forward, right? And you know, when I was doing that, I realized that, you know, that was, well, wow, that's powerful, because I'm realizing that was one of my first decisions. You know, I made that decision consciously to no longer go to school, right? And instead choose to pursue this life of that was alternative. It was outside. That was when I became a rebel. That's when I became an outcast to society. When I decided, man, fuck school. I remember having that conversation with myself and saying, man, fuck school. You know, school isn't, you know, for everybody. And I knew it wasn't for me. Now, when I made that decision, I came to a point of understanding, man, my level of respect for myself was nothing in comparison to when I actually made that decision for myself, right? And me making that decision for myself allows me now to speak, you know, freely around other people. It allows me a alternative perspective, because I know that I've made decisions in my past that have been a testament to my character, right? Who I'm choosing to be every single day, not who I've been, not not only just who I want to be, but who am I choosing to be right here, right now? You know, every single day, we all are faced with different opportunities on, are we going to grow today? Are we going to go and stay the same? Are we going to live life the way that that person, you know, suggested I live? Or am I going to live my own life? Am I going to be my own character? How am I going to express myself today? You know, every single day is a new opportunity to face that. But how are we going to go about moving forward in that, right? So thank you, Tony, for sharing that, brother. I got caught up in my own story there. But man, yeah, thank you for sharing that, man. That is powerful, because those moments in time that we recognize, like, man, I am my own person. I am my own consciousness, and I have the ability to make decisions. Now, a decision is the cutting off, right, of all other options. Saying that, you know what, fuck that, man. This is my decision. This is what I want to do. There's power in that when you make your own conscious decisions. When you choose to live your life outside of anybody else, Tony said, now I choose how I serve, where I serve, and most importantly, with whom I serve. Yes, sir. You are the king of your own kingdom, brother. That's what we're all here to do. You know, we're all here to make our own decisions and to respect yourself is to grant respect for other people to respect you. Because if I'm internally walking around with lack of respect, it's going to show in my body language. It's going to come across in my communication. It's going to come across in the way that I'm being, right? That is evident that okay, this person we've all seen, let's say, homeless men that are sitting on the corner sometimes, right? They are looking at you to see if you're going to respect them enough, right, to grant them some money that they didn't work for, right? If we're going to take our hard-earned money and give it to these people, right, who haven't worked for this money. Now, you can give out of the kindness of your heart. By all means, you do that, but make that a choice every single time that you do that. Not just because you feel like that's the right thing to do, To respect yourself is to respect everybody else that's outside of you, but it always starts from the inside of you. Oh, I remember why I was even talking about that shit. That's crazy. So back in 2016, that's what I was getting at. Back in 2016, I made the conscious choice and decision to flip the perspective of my life. Now, this was like the most powerful point and perspective I could take on at the moment in time. I went from looking at my life from the outside, right? I went from looking at my life as a victim, quote unquote. I went from looking at myself as, man, just a little black boy that grew up in Arizona, right? I went from looking that way to now looking from the inside out. To look from the inside out is to have the true perspective of self, in my perspective, in my opinion and understanding and my experience in life so far. The greatest thing that I've done is shifted my perspective from seeing life as coming at me. Instead, I am going towards life now. I'm choosing life. I'm making my decisions and I'm going forward no matter what comes my way. Moving towards my target, I will not be stopped. That is a very, very powerful, that's my interpretation of AZD's axiom, right? But axiom is a data point. But moving towards my target, I will not be stopped. That is a forward motion in life. And what do we do as men, as masters, as powerful creators? What do we do as men? We go forward in life. We create. We are the cause point of everything. Nothing happens outside of our own self perspective and understanding in life. So to treat yourself as the greatest authority in your life, to treat yourself as if there's nobody that can make a greater decision for you than you, is to really realize how much you really respect yourself at that moment in time. When you truly desire to master yourself, to get to the next level, to become whatever it is that you want to become in this life, the way to get there is to move forward, to create, to do something that you've never done before, right? One of my favorite, lecture series to listen to is it's called "You Were Born Rich" by Bob Proctor. I think I might have mentioned it the very first meeting. And I coupled that along with the recording from Earl Nightingale, which is The Strangest Secret, right? And these teachings, these series, these lessons are life-changing lessons, because you no longer, what they help you do, and really being a part of IMC Nation and being a part of Lions Den every single day and showing up everywhere and being in these different places, right? Connecting these different dots. It allows us to create our own infrastructure in life, where we create our own matrix. We're no longer subject to what's outside of us. There is a world outside, because we haven't created the world inside. I mean, that changes everything right there, man. When you create the world that you want to live in inside, and you begin to express, all you have to do is just express yourself. When you begin to express yourself, I don't want to make this a lecture, so anybody got anything to say at any time, just unmute. But when you begin to express yourself, you're expressing what's on the inside of you, right? I'm realizing this as I'm going through these moments, right? When I get on my podcast, it's the same thing every single time. It's just an unveiling of whatever is inside. Same thing when I come here. Same thing when I get in conversations with brothers here, IMC Nation brothers, brothers that are here local. Any kind of conversations that I have, it just, whatever's on the inside of me is going to come out. So what am I creating on the inside of myself? What world do you come from? I think of my brother Troy. He's still on. He comes from a jungle. That man is a real life rhino, and that's my experience with him. Right? I'm sure that he has his own internal creation and internal process that fuels him, right, to create whatever the fuck he wants to create, to do whatever the fuck he has to do. But we know him as a beast. We know him as a warrior, as a king of his own kingdom. And that goes for every single person here. But how you express yourself, how you choose to live, is nothing but your world becoming from the inside of yourself, from the inside to the outside. That's the perspective that, if I could grant anybody a superpower in this life, it would be that. It would be to shift their perspective from looking at themselves from the outside to now looking at themselves from the inside. And when you look at yourself from the inside out, you know that the world that you create inside is what you can create outside. Now, how do you go about doing this? That's the whole question. Well, you tap into certain frequencies that inspire that creation in you. So when I listen to Bob Proctor, who's the author of the You Were Born Rich series, and this is stuff you can look up on YouTube, fellas, if it comes to mind. Or Earl Nightingale, the Strangest Secret, or Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, or Harv Eker, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Grant Cardone, The Millionaire Booklet, all these authors that have come quote unquote successful, have become quote unquote successful. Those people are simply just more organized and more structured than we are from the inside out. That's the only difference between them and us. I mean, yeah, them and us. Them and us.